Welcome Year 5 to the ninth out of a series of 10 lessons for English based on The Arrival by Chantal and on the theme of community. Let's get started. Are you ready? You'll need something to write with, a pen, a pencil, and something to write on. Pause the video if you need to go and collect those items before we continue with the rest of today's lesson. Hello. What are they reading? That's our starter task for today. Have a look at these fictional characters. They each have a book that they're looking at. But what are they reading? Is it fiction or non-fiction? So fiction, made up, it's story-like. Or non-fiction, it's where the facts are. Well, if it's fiction, what genre is it? Is it an adventure story? Sci-fi, so some science fiction. Is it mythical? Is it a mystery? Is it horror? Or is it a romance? And why are they reading it? Are they reading it just to pass the time? Are they reading it because they need vital information? Are they reading it because they know they shouldn't be? Are they reading it just for their own pleasure? How well do you know these characters? What kind of book would they pick up? What might it be about? Pause the video now so you can have either discussion with somebody who's with you or to jot down your notes. Welcome back. Wow, there are so many different answers that we could go with here. For example, I'm pretty sure Winnie the Pooh is probably reading a book that is full of quotes and things about the meaning of life. He always seems to have wise words. Whereas I wonder if Matilda over here is probably lost in some fiction. She's probably reading an adventure story, maybe. Let's move on to today's lesson. Make sure you have with you something to write with and plenty to write on. Yes, it's one of those days today. Pause the video if you need to go and collect these things before we get started. Now, before I launch us into the writing that we're going to be doing today, let's pause for a moment so that we can find out what happens next in our story. Enjoy. We're slowly gaining a picture of what the new life for our arrival is really like. So in our last session, we looked at the structure of an informal letter. And today, we're going to see how we might be able to use some of the features that we've been working on and the skills we've been working on, that deliberate vocabulary choice, those adverbials of time, place, and number, and begin to build our own letter in response to this one here. This letter is about somebody moving away and not having that contact with them anymore. So it's perfect for us to have a go at trying this for ourselves. This is why we're going to need a fair bit of space today for our writing. As we work through this, we're going to be taking the opportunity to use our checklist in order to make sure we have all the right ingredients that allow us to create a successful letter. As we go through, feel free to use the writing that I'm creating or to adapt it if you feel you've got a better word or phrase that you think will fit the writing. You ready to begin? So here's our overall structure: our address and date, the greeting, the reason for writing, asking our reader how they are engaging with them, then telling them about us, our thoughts and feelings since we've been away, an event, so thoughts or feelings included about that. So maybe something else has happened since that move has happened, something new in your life, maybe something you've learnt. And then signing it off with that final section, saying goodbye and sharing your hopes and wishes for the future before ending with your name. Okay, so hopefully we've got everything that we need on the screen. We've got the copy of the original letter that we're going to reply to now to practice incorporating all of our skills. Down the middle here, we have all of those, all of the structural parts, so we know what needs to go where. And then over here on the far side are all of those tools and skills that we've been looking at using over the course of our journey. So let's get started. Let's start with the things that we can see. So first, let's start with the things that are the most obvious when we are laying out a letter. So first of all, we are going to need to put in an address. So we're going to start it over here. I'm going to make sure it's left aligned as well, so that we're in the right place. Where is the end of it? There it is. Okay, we're going to start with the house number. Let's say 56. So I'm just going to make this up because we don't have the actual addresses of these characters, of these people at the moment. So we'll go with 56. Let's go with Flower Drive. Okay, Flower Drive. Let's keep with the floral theme. What town is it going to be in? Let's say it is in Auckland, and the area name, the county that they're in is Derbyshire. Because I'm the author, I get to make these choices, you see? And then, of course, our postcode at the end. So Derbyshire 34 7 BG. There we go. So there is our postcode. and our address. All we need now is to add in our date. Again, I can make this up. You at home, you could use today's date if you wanted to. Let's go with, well, if this letter is the 24th of March, we're going to reply a little bit later. So go March, let's go April. Let's go the 15th of April. And that's a 2017, so let's keep it to the same year as well, 2017. So we've got the first two parts, our address and our date, already done for our letter. Now, this is to Billy, this letter here, and it was written from Greg. And we've just received this letter, so we are Billy, and we'll be writing to Greg. So here's our next bit of text then. Now he started it with to Billy. Remember, this is an informal letter. We don't need to use dear. So I'm going to say to, and this time it was to Greg. I'm going to put a comma after that. Just drop it under here because my picture is in the way. I can't quite get it on the line above. Okay, so there's to Greg. And then we've got this, either an apology or a reason for writing. Now, Billy has apologized for not writing sooner. So we need to respond to that. So I think to Greg, let's start off by saying, thanks so much. Thanks so much for your letter, Greg. It was really great to hear from you. Really great to hear from you. And when I'm writing this letter, we always start this first line. You can start this first line slightly indented, or we can do just as it has on here and start at the far side. It was really great to hear from you. Now, I've used thanks rather than thank you because it is that informal tone. So I'm talking to a friend here. Thanks so much for your letter, Greg. It was really great to hear from you. Don't worry about not writing sooner. We've been pretty busy here, to be honest. So I doubt I would have been able to reply. Let's bring this up a little bit so we can see. There we go. So it's not on the line. Thanks so much for your letter, Greg. It was really great to hear from you. Don't worry about not writing sooner. We've been pretty busy here, to be honest. So I doubt I would have been able to reply. I'm missing a full stop at the end of that. So we've given that reason for writing, and kind of that kind of dismissal of the apology, like don't worry about it, and that acknowledgement. So then we need to be writing our next section. Now on here it says, how are you? Ask some questions about the person you're writing to. Okay. So have you gotten, another bit of informal language there, have you gotten any closer to finding I'm going to refer back to here, the hooded gardener and the stolen animals. The hooded gardener and the stolen animals. Once, when we were at the garden centre, you remember jackets. Do you remember? So have you got any closer to finding the hooded gardener and the stolen animals? Once, so here I'm using an adverbial of time. Once, when we were at the garden centre, do you remember? There was a strange man with a green there was a strange man with a green jacket. He had been, I'm sure I'd seen him hiding. Hiding. Anyone could be hiding. How could I make this man seem a bit more suspicious, a bit more negative? I want to change that word. I'm thinking about that deliberate word choice now. I'm sure I'd seen him hiding, more than hiding, lurking, creeping, skulking. Let's go with, I thought I'd seen him lurking in the bushes at the back of our shed. I think he lives near to the shop we used to stop on the way to school. On the way to school. Maybe you should try investigating around there next. I'm asking a question there. So have you gotten any closer to finding the hooded gardener and the stolen animals? So again, I'm asking a question about the person that I'm writing to, interested in their life. Once, there's my adverbial of time, when we were at the garden centre, so we've now got a place in there as well. Do you remember? There was a strange man with a green jacket. I'm sure I'd seen him lurking in the bushes at the back of our shed. I think he lives near the shop we used to stop at on the way to school. Maybe you should try investigating around there next. So we've given him something to think about and something to reply to. Now the next section is about myself, so about me. The next section is the next section is about me, my thoughts and feelings since I've been away. So here we go. How have I felt since I've moved away? Now we know that they were moved away because the mum said, at night when I'm on my own, I keep wondering whether you would have had to move if your mum hadn't found out what we were doing. Let's start with, you're right about mum. I'm sure of it. She really doesn't like this new village. It's with new city. Putrid smells and constant sirens can be heard Raging arguments and constant sirens can be heard throughout the night. See, now I changed the beginning part of that sentence because originally I had the putrid smells. So I was trying to think of some negative vocabulary to describe this city. However, I then had putrid smells, and then the constant sirens can be heard throughout the night. Now, if I'm going to say can be heard throughout the night, really, I want to be talking about two things that I can hear. That's why I went back and I changed those putrid smells, as great as that word putrid is, and stuck with something else I might be able to hear that might not be something I enjoy listening to. So raging arguments and constant sirens can be heard throughout the night. It's so busy on the streets that I'm not allowed out after school. It's finished. This means there's no chance of me doing any, mark in capital letters, any misbehaving. Mum has finally, so I've got again another adverbial of time there. This means there's no chance of me doing any misbehaving. Mum has finally won her battle to keep me away from anything remotely interesting. There we go. So now we've got our greeting, the reason for our writing, so kind of responding to kind of Greg's apology there. How are you? Okay, asking those questions. Have you gotten any closer to the hooded gardener and the stolen animals? Finding them. Once when we were at the garden centre, do you remember? Ooh, I think that needs to be a capital letter in there. Oops. Okay. Start with our brackets. Capital letter. Do you remember? There was a strange man with a green jacket. I might change that to a parenthesis in there. There was a strange man with a green jacket. I'm sure I'd seen him lurking in the bushes at the back of our shed. I think he lives near to the shop we used to stop at on the way back to school. Maybe you should try investigating around there next. Ooh, and I have missed a full stop. Then we had the about you and your thoughts, your feelings, okay, since you've been away. You're right about Mum, I'm sure of it. She really doesn't like this new city. Raging arguments and constant sirens can be heard throughout the night. It's so busy on the streets that I'm not allowed out after school has finished. This means there's no chance of me doing any misbehaving. Mum has finally won her battle to keep me away from anything remotely interesting. Fantastic. Our next thing is about an event, thoughts and feelings that need to be included there. So let's think of an adverbial, and let's go, we've had some adverbials of time. Let's try some adverbials of place. I'm going to go with a place. Where might there be something that Billy wants to maybe go and play with, but we know that he's not allowed? Let's go with around the back of our of my new school, the new skate park has just been built. I was allowed to, or I can see it from my classroom. On the page. I can see it from my classroom. And let's think about what we might be able to see. And the half pipe looks great. That looks great. Let's see if I can choose a better word than great. Looks incredible. Looks, that's a little bit risky. Looks like, so I need it to be a little bit more with that sense of danger. Insane. Yeah, okay. So looks insane. Exclamation mark. Looks insane. Insane. 5. Looks insane. One of the boys, I wonder what might have happened there. One of the boys that sits next to me claimed, I was going to say said that, let's go with claims. Okay, again, it's a more than just saying said. One of the boys that sits next to me claims he can do it with his eyes closed. Do it with his eyes closed. Now what I want to do is maybe talk about, however, one of the year 9 boys had a go, or one of the year 9 students had a go and broke their wrist and their ankle. I don't know, something along those lines, this kind of event that, sounds a little bit dangerous. He wants to get involved, but, he's not so sure about it. So one of the boys that sits next to me claims he can do it with his eyes closed. However, and let's then use another adverbial. Let's go with, we've got a conjunctive adverbial here because it's linking our ideas, it's developing it further. However, last week, there were rumours. There were rumours going around school that 3 children broke their broke their leg or ankle or wrist on it after trying to complete it blindfolded. So one of the boys that sits next to me claims he can do it with his eyes closed. However, last week there were rumours going around school that 3 children children broke their leg or ankle or wrist on it after trying. Let's maybe too many ors in there. Let's make those into commas. Then we've got commas in a list. Break their leg, ankle, or wrist on it after trying to complete it blindfolded. I think, so we've got those thoughts and feelings. I think I'll stick to skating with my eyes wide open. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask another question. I'm going to assume here that Greg has got a skateboard. Maybe it's something that the boys used to do together. Thank you very much. Have you managed to repair your skateboard? There we go. So now we have, just going to reduce the size of this so it's in the right place. There we go. Not fitting on my boxes very well, am I? Let's squidge that in just a little bit. There we go. So we've got our greeting to Greg. We've got this response as to why we're writing, that how are you, asking them about their about how things are with them and what they're up to. We've got the how I'm feeling since I've been here. No chance of me doing any miss for him. Mum's finally won her battle with you. Okay, she really doesn't like it. We heard with it. It's so busy in the streets that I'm not allowed to. Maybe I need to add in there a little bit more about my feelings. It's so unfair. There we go. This means there's no chance of me. There we go. Now I've really got those feelings in there. Around the back of my new school, a new skate park has just been built. I can see it from my classroom, and the half pipe looks insane. One of the boys that sits next to me claims he can do it with his eyes closed. However, last week there were rumours going round school that three children broke their leg, ankle, or wrist on it. Broke their leg, ankle, or wrist on it after trying to complete it blindfolded. I think I'll stick to skating with my eyes wide open. Thank you very much. I did not read that correctly, did I? Shall I try that again? I think I'll stick to skating with my eyes wide open. Thank you very much. Have you managed to repair your skateboard? Now, something new in your life. Okay. The one thing that I have enjoyed, though, is what is one thing he might be able to enjoy? What I might enjoy is the I'm going to change it to are the. So I'm trying to think about what it might be like living in a city. What kind of things might a young child really enjoy? Now, he can't go out and he can't be kind of misbehaving, so he's not going to be out about in the city very much. So I'm wondering if maybe it's the lights he can see from the house. The one thing that I have enjoyed, though, are the bright lights of the office buildings. night. Night. At night. Now I'm going to use another adverbial of time. When are the bright lights of the office buildings at night? When Mum thinks I'm asleep, I pull back the curtains. Just drop that down so you can see that. When Mum thinks I'm asleep. No, when Mum thinks I'm asleep, I pull back the curtains and look at the different twinkling in the twinkling across skyline. Twinkling across the skyline. Okay. Across the skyline. Now I think look needs to change. I could use a better word for a better effect there. I just look at them. Okay, more than a look. Be a gaze. I gaze at them. I stare at them. That's quite intense, isn't it? I'm going to go with gaze. I pull back the curtains and gaze at the different colours twinkling. And gaze at the different colours twinkling across the skyline. Beautiful. Now we need to think of how we're going to finish this off. Okay, across the skyline. It's beautiful. And beautiful. I wish you could see it. I wish you could it. I wish you could see it too. I wish you could see it for yourself. There we go. I wish you could see it for yourself. Last little bit now. Gotta go now. Go now. Mum's calling me. I wonder what I've done wrong now. What I've done wrong now. I hope, because we need that hope in there, I hope to hear back from you soon. Hear back from you soon. Last little bit. I can't move my page down anymore, so I'm going to do it just off to the side here. Your best mate. Your best mate. Billy. There we go. Billy. And there's our letter. Okay. Looking pretty good. And I think we've managed to get everything in there.